So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we got a good one for you. We have our brother Red Supreme TV. Now, some of you who follow Red Supreme, many of you have said, "Man, you need to get Red Supreme on the show." And I say, you know what? I'm gonna start circling all the brothers up here because they got a lot of game for everybody that needs to know. And the brothers need some instruction because let's call it what it is. A lot of these guys grew up with single mothers, and Red Supreme is an expert on single mothers and what they do in the community and just what you get beta males are doing with the simping and carrying on. So Red Supreme, thank you for joining us on the show today, brother.
Oh man, hey man, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, so for people that never seen your channel, it may be your first time, seeing you, tell people just a little bit about yourself, and what they can see on your channel.
Well, my name is Red Supreme, TV1, grew up in Los Angeles, California. But I was raised by Southern parents. My father was military. My mother had her own little daycare and things of that nature. So I seen what it was like for two parents to bring money in the house. They worked together, not against each other. They had their differences, but they worked together. So I never seen my mother use my father, and I never seen my father use my mother. So as I got older, I started to understand what was going on. And a lot of my friends didn't have fathers. And a lot of them would come over to my house, kick it or whatnot. And, I had uncles, fathers. So once I found out about YouTube, hey man, I decided to make content because I wanted to provide the brothers information that a lot of them just didn't get growing up, man. So I'm here to fill that gap, man. And hey man, it's red pill content, but at the same time, it's just motivation for men, man. You can call it red pill, manosphere, whatever, but it's just motivation for men, man. And the uplifting for men, especially the young black men. So that's what I'm all about. Come check me out on Red Supreme TV1, also Red Supreme TV2. A lot of great content, man. We talking about what's going on in the community. And I'm trying to put a lot of the older people up to par. You know what I mean? Bring them up to speed on what's going on today, Phil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So you say you grew up in a two-parent household, so you didn't grow up with any kind of single mothers, correct?
No, I grew up with both of my parents, and they was both from Alabama, but they raised me in California. But yeah, I grew up with both of my parents.
Okay. So I'll, watching your content, through time, hearing your stories that you have told. So you grew up in a two-parent household, but how did you end up getting in the streets?
Well, growing up in South Central, man, is right there. Mm-hmm. You walk to school. My father would go to work like probably like 8 in the morning, and he would work for like 9. He worked for the post office. So everybody in the neighborhood, and like I said, most of my friends, they didn't have fathers. So the neighborhood I grew up in, man, you be in the streets, man. You go to school, you got to fight going to school. So it's like, even though I had my parents, the streets was right there. And you had to fight. And if you didn't fight, you couldn't come outside. Not in the 90s in LA. So that right there automatically brought the street element to a lot of kids who had two parents. Because if you lived in the neighborhood, you had to fight like the same kids who were raised by, single mothers. So that's kind of where I got into the streets. A lot of my friends, we would get into trouble just doing stuff in the neighborhood,
So you would say it was more of a environmental pressure than a peer pressure?
It was more of an environmental thing because I never really had no peer pressure. All of my friends that I know today, we grew up together since like sandbox, man. I'll say like since 1st, 2nd grade. So it was never no peer pressure. We all kind of started doing the same things around the same time because we all grew up in the same neighborhood, the same block. But what I can say is what kept me out of getting in a lot of trouble, and the reason that I'm still here today is the guidance of my father. That's the reason why I didn't go out and create children that I couldn't take care of. That's the reason why I'm not dead or in prison, because a lot of my friends who didn't have their fathers, unfortunately, that's where a lot of them are right now. So me hearing my father's words kept me out of trouble. And I'm gonna say this, Phil. Another thing, when I was like 13, 14, 15, when it got dark, my father would come looking for me. So that kept me out of a lot of trouble as well. Because a lot of my friends, they didn't have no father to come looking for them. you know, and if they was raised by a single mother, they can kind of just run the streets and do as they please. So me having that father looking for me when the street lights came on, it kept me out of a lot of stuff.
So you mentioned the street lights, so I guess we probably around the same age group. But I know that was a rule. You better be in this house for the street lights come on. Or it's
Yeah,
a
man.
problem.
I just turned 40 years old in July.
Okay, I'm 2 years older than you.
Yeah, so you know, yeah. See the difference, like I say, when it got dark, when my pops would get out of work, he'd come looking for me. If my mom couldn't find me, then my pops would come looking for me. And like I said, just by me knowing that, it stopped me from doing a lot of things because of that the presence of a father, the presence of a man, you know?
Yes, sir. So, you talk a lot about the destructive, nature of, today's single mothers, and you talk about it heavily. Where do you get a lot of your commentary from to inspire what you got going on? I mean, was it because of what you saw growing up with your friends or women you associated with? Where's the bulk of that coming from?
Well, the community, man. A lot of my friends not having fathers and seeing how their mothers raised them. And think about the example that I just gave. If you was raised by a single mother and you had the opportunity to run the streets, that created a lot of problems later because we all know when you don't have idle minds, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of kids that were raised by those single mothers with no structure, they had a lot of time to do a lot of different things that they should have never been doing. So as I think YouTube came out, what was it, like 2008, 9?
Yeah.
Can't remember. I think one of the first people I saw on YouTube was Tariq, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about what was going on, you know, in the Black community, dating, Mac lessons. And I thought about it. I was like, damn, man, this is the same thing that I see. I see it every day. And once I realized you can create content, that also inspired me to make content because the brother was speaking on what I've seen every day growing up in South Central. You know what I mean? Brothers joining gangs because no fathers being there. They can run the streets because the mother, she got three teenage boys. How a single mother gonna control 3 teenage boys? So I witnessed all of this stuff firsthand. So that right there is what, see, I seen it firsthand, Phil. I didn't have to look at stats and statistics. Me growing up in South Central, I've seen the 92 LA riots. I've seen the crack babies. A lot of my friends are crack babies. I've seen the single mothers, the crack babies, the gang violence. So I witnessed everything firsthand. So when I give you guys this content, man, it's like, you know, you're getting it from the source, man.
Yeah, man, let me tell you something. It is, especially when I see, a single mother with a little boy, I cringe every single time I cringe. With a girl too, but definitely a boy, because me and you both know when that little boy get about depends on how wild it is, but on average 11 to 12, she can't do nothing with him no more.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what, Phil? A lot of my friends, like one of my best friends, she had his mother had 4 boys, and they had different fathers. And what could she do? All of them was like a year apart, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Man, they did what they wanted to do, man. Them little boys terrorized that neighborhood. They were my friends. See, they would be respectful when they came over my house, because my mama, you know, they from Alabama, so everybody came to our house for the cookouts, the barbecues and stuff like that. You know, my uncle lived there, my father, my older brother. So it was men in structure because we was kind of like a traditional family, one of few traditional families in the neighborhood. So we did kind of like Boys in the Hood, where, you know, you seen everybody come over to Ricky Mama's house for the barbecue.
Yeah.
That's how it was at my house in LA. You know, my moms and pops do barbecues. So everybody in the neighborhood come over to eat ribs and just kick it and listen to music on the weekends in our backyard. So me seeing all that, Phil, man, you know, that's why I have endless content. I don't have to write anything down, man. You know, everything that I talk about, I witnessed it, man. And I don't see, when people listen to my content, they say, oh, you blaming Black women for everything. It's not that I'm blaming Black women for everything. I kind of speak about the women more, but yeah, we do contribute to the problems. But like I said, it all stems from the fatherless home. Once these boys are able to roam the streets and do what they want to do, that leaves opportunities for them to join gangs. That creates opportunities for them to get off into crime because there's no structure and too much idle time.
Yes, sir. And I can tell you from personal experience, you know, my mom and dad was married, right? All the way up until I was about 8 years old. And then they
Mm-hmm.
got a divorce. And I can tell you the difference when my dad was there versus when my mom and dad was divorced and now she's a single mother. It was like
Mm-hmm.
night and day, right?
Yeah.
Now, due to the fact that my dad was a good man and he always was in my life, I also had, you know, my grandfathers, my uncles, and things like that. I didn't get to really have that experience of just be able to go wild out like that because I was always being held accountable by family and things
Yeah.
like that. But it still was a difference because there was less money in the house. You know, we struggled a lot more at times versus when my dad was around. It didn't seem like we struggled at all. Right.
Yeah.
So you imagine some of my friends, like in the neighborhood, didn't have, you know, no father at all, even know they father. And like you said, wilding out, joining gangs, you know, then crack epidemic hit the community. I remember that like night, you know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
people that was robbing their own mama for crack. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I never forget this dude, and you probably got a story like this dude named Skeeter Man in the neighborhood. I'm like, this dude here wild out, hair all over the place, whatever. Skeeter do whatever he got to do to get $5. So if you want Skeeter to go knock another boy out for you, you don't feel like fighting Skeeter, I give you $5. You go punch him in the mouth. Give it here. I'll go punch him right now. I laugh at that. But you remember them crackheads, like they'll do anything.
Yeah, man. And you know what, man? You know what, Phil? You see Skid Row. I know everybody see it, man.
Oh, I seen it. That's bad, bro. I've
Man,
been
I
that
got
way.
friends.
That's bad.
Hey, man, I got friends that I grew up with, man, that's down there right now. You know what I mean? That, you know, got on crack, crystal meth, man. And then, you know, the high prices of rent. I had a friend that was on crack, went to jail, got out, rent so high, couldn't find a job, started getting high again down there on Skid Row, man. So, you know, I tell people it's real, man. You know, when you were a kid, you don't think it can happen. But I witnessed that. A lot of people I grew up with, they down there on Skid Row as we speak, you know? And it goes back to what I said. A lot of these guys were raised in single mother homes. A lot of these guys had the time to go experiment with drugs, run the streets. Because like I said, after a certain time, my pops would get me to come home. And a lot of these guys still had the time to get in trouble. And that right there led to other things. And unfortunately, man, a lot of those guys are in prison. A lot of those guys are homeless. Some of them on Skid Row, man. And, you know, to grow up with these guys and to see them down there, man, I know it's real. You know.
Yeah, and then not only that you may have some females, at least in your area, on Figueroa.
It's a lot that too. It's a lot of that too, man. And you know what? Like this, I talk about this too, Phil. Like this level up culture, getting the bag, that's created a lot of prostitutes. Ever since that social media level up, getting the bag, you see a large. It's more prostitutes now, because the rap music encourages. Let's get the bag, get a nigga for money. Excuse my language, get him for the bread, make him pay. So the female rappers are promoting that culture, promoting prostitution. And in Los Angeles, I'm starting to see younger and younger girls walk the blade, becoming prostitutes, trying to do whatever they got to do to get to the bag, Phil. It's sad.
Well, what I don't understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know the laws, over there in California, but ever since like freaking, OnlyFans came out, why are they walking the track and dealing with some pimping at this point? Why?
Well, it's kind of like the matriarchy and the patriarchy. Even in the underworld, you got some women that feel better under the guidance of a man, like even certain prostitutes. See, what people don't realize, even with the prostitutes and the regular women, it's the same thing. You got some prostitutes that want to be under the instructions of a man. Then you have the prostitutes that they call renegades. They want to get paid on their own. They don't want nothing to do with no man. So same thing in the regular world. You have some working women that want that traditional, although it's far and few nowadays, that actually want a man in structure. And then you have those women that want to be independent, strong, and make their own money. So I'm seeing the same thing in the underworld that I see in what they would call the square world. Some of these women want to be on their own. Some prostitutes don't mind having a pimp or whatever. But like we said, this stock culture, get the bag culture, It's creating more independent women who feel like they don't have to listen to a man. Listen, the pimps are going through the same stuff as the regular working guys are going through, because a lot of the so-called working girls, they thinking like, well, I don't need them no more. Even though some of them still stay with their man, but a lot of them have the same mindset like the independent women on the workforce. I don't need to pimp no more. I can make my own money. I can go to OnlyFans and I can put myself on a webcam. So yes, it's going on both worlds, bro.
Yeah, and then even they be tricking on Instagram, getting flew out, and all kinds of things they're doing now that they couldn't do. Let's say back when me and you were growing up in the 80s and 90s.
In the 80s and 90s, and that right there that has encouraged a lot of Black females to get up into prostitution, man. I know so many Black females now that pretty much are prostitutes. They don't think a lot of them will tell you they're not. But see, this is the thing, Phil. You ain't gotta walk the blade to be a prostitute. You got prostitutes that work in corporations who sleep their way to the top. And they're sleeping.
Kamala Harris.
Yes. So and prostitution is going on in politics, regular jobs, corporate America. Hey man, sex sells, and females will use that to their advantage. So the thing about it is, it's kind of like the drug dealer on the corner, Phil. It's easy to say, oh, that's a drug dealer. But what they don't realize, the biggest drug dealer are the white guys living in them communities. They don't touch drugs. They don't touch drugs at all. They just make it easier for the people to access it. They make it easier for the people to have access to it while they kick back in the cut and benefit. It's the same thing with the prostitute that works in corporate America. You don't see what she's doing because she ain't on the corner, but she's still using sex to her benefit. You know what I mean? So there's levels to prostitution, just like there's levels to drug dealing. You know?
Yeah, well, the biggest drug dealers right now, their name is Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. That's the biggest drug dealer right now.
Yeah, they're the biggest. But see, they can put the spotlight on the guy on the corner, right? Because that's the scapegoat. Bam, let's get him. He's a drug dealer. Same thing with the prostitute. We think that the prostitute is just a female walking the blade. No, a lot of these prostitutes are politicians. A lot of these prostitutes are your bosses in corporate America. So
you remember, I think it was speaking of a politician, I think her name was Katie Hill. I don't know if she was out of California or what, but you remember that story about they caught her up on some freaky deaky?
Yeah, I don't remember the story to the T, but I remember something about it though.
Yeah, old blonde hair, wide woman. Yeah, they the worst because they be getting, I don't want to go down this route on YouTube too far, but that's be the main ones that be messing with kids. Because I just seen a story where Benjamin Crump gonna sue guys working with some Black kids, and it goes back to the single mother thing, losing their kids, getting put in the system where in Louisiana they was taking these Black children and hosting sex parties with children with these rich white men in Louisiana, and Benjamin Crump was going after them now. I just saw that story like last night. I said, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? And these were Black children they were doing this to in Louisiana. And they like to pull these children a lot of times from these single parent households, right? Because I don't know, you remember that story? This one girl, single mother, had about 7 kids, and she was happy that they got taken away.
Yeah, I remember that story. I remember that. Yeah,
man, it's like that's why sometimes they get after me, and I know they come at you when you talk about single mothers. But like I said, single mothers, we in our generation seen the rise of the single mother. So what you're seeing now is the repercussions of the single mother in that millennial generation and on. That's why you have so many beta males and simps and tricks running around now.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right about that, Bill. We're seeing the repercussions of that mindset. You know what I mean? They planted those seeds, and those children are grown now. So you have a generation of Black women who don't have no appreciation. You see, everything is about get the bag, get the bag. There's no appreciation for a man. So Black men that are successful now, that have to work hard to get there, they don't see the benefit of having a relationship with modern Black women. It's not that they don't want a Black woman, but when you listen to the mindset of the average Black female, it's like men, they just don't want to risk it. And as Black men, all of us take the rap like oh, the majority of black men are just creating single mothers, creating the children and not taking care of them. And that's unfair. We can't wear that jacket because the majority of us are not creating these problems. And another thing is this, Phil, there's so many black women on social media trying to paint us as the boogeyman of America, like we're just abusing women and children and we're these monsters. So what I've been doing lately is I've been making videos of, you know, the Caucasian men that they praise to show them like, well, how come you guys never, and like I said, I don't condone what these brothers do. If you're doing something to the women, I have no problem with them making videos about those brothers who harm these sisters, who harm these black females and women. But how come you guys don't give that same energy to these white guys who have harmed black women? I got them all over my feed. None of these black females feel in this space. None of the top black female content creators are covering these stories where black women are harmed by white men. None of them will touch the story. And that's why I've been calling them out lately, brother.
Well, I'm with you. I talked about. I just recently interviewed, the YouTube channel Shay Sharday. With her name Sharday. You know, good sister.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, she's a good sister, man. You need to holler at her. She real good.
She's a good sister, man. And it's far and few of them. But you would think that the sisters with larger platforms would key in on that because there's so many black women, females promoting this divestment thing. Oh, the black man ain't nothing. Get you a man. It was a black woman that made a video a week ago. She said a bottom shelf Brad is better than a top shelf Tyrone. And they're really pushing this to young black women that we're the boogeyman and a white man is just the greatest thing since sliced bread. So I've been offering pushback. I'm like, there's several stories where black women have been harmed and none of these sisters with large platforms, none of them been touching these stories, bro.
Well, let me say this, because you know that's what on my channel I call it divestment propaganda, because that's what it is, propaganda. Because like you said, when Brad goes psycho, you know, and harm one of them or whatever, they quiet, they say nothing. But they selling books, and I talked about this before. They're selling books on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you act to get a white man, right? They're selling courses, telling you your whole course. How to get a white man. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Red Supreme, imagine me and you come up with a course to tell black men how to get Asian women, white women, or whatever. And in this course, you're telling black men, well, black men, you need to dress this way and you need to talk this way and you need to act that way. Right. Or what if I write a book? Same thing. Right. What would they call us, Red Supreme, if we do that?
Oh man, we would be the biggest self-haters. We're promoting genocide. You know what I mean? It'd be so much pushback from that. It's just ridiculous, man. And to see that, man, and to see the men, you know what's crazy, Phil? You have men in these groups with these women who support these women. And I'm thinking, like, what does the world come to? And these are black men. I said, what is the world?
Now you're gonna go there? Nah, I'm about to go there. I think they are the worst, and I call they are the biggest simps ever. Listen, I understand the women having some sort of issue, and let's call it what it is. If you are a black man and you are married or dating a woman outside the community, now I know a white woman really sets them on fire. I know that much. I mean, that really sets them on fire. Yeah. But let's say even if you're dating or married to a woman that's like a Indian woman, Asian woman, Hispanic woman, whatever, right? You know, California, you see plenty of that where and how down here in Texas. They will get more upset and more venom at the black man because, see, in their mind, I've been told this before, you know, behind the scenes by black women. In their mind, they automatically think that black man is the top tier black man. They don't even know that those other women get Pookie and Ray Ray too. A lot of them are hood rats too. Okay. Yeah. Look on TikTok, you can find them. So they get mad and everything and get so much venom. Look, Red Supreme, I've even dealt with the venom myself. Now, I've been on this platform over 10 years. I've always said who I was married to, who my wife was, whatever. Somebody, I guess, tried to so-called expose me, I guess, for something I already said years ago about my wife, right? Put some old pictures out. Oh, you should have seen how they acted, Red Supreme. You should have seen how they acted. They act like I had killed some black people. They act like I had molested children or something to that effect. They'll make so many videos, Red Supreme. But these women sit up here and have they Brads on making videos with Brad. I mean, they get praise, right?
Yeah.
They make courses, they make whatever. I still got people come to this day talking about my wife. Like, look, I'm married to 10 years or Friday. I'm not going nowhere. I'm
Right.
good. I ain't got your problems. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not on here talking about I have never made a video telling brothers, don't date black women, don't marry black women, marry this. That's dumb.
Right.
Because I know it's good and bad everywhere.
That's true.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So they have this, and this is why brothers are pushing back. They're pushing back. And then at the same time, when you talk about that level up thing, a lot of men, according to the census, I don't know if you've seen the new census numbers, men in general now in America has checked out of marriage. They checked
I noticed
out.
that. And you
Man,
know
it
what?
is bad
Notice
for
that.
them.
I noticed that, Phil, but black women are running around telling everybody that black men don't value family or marriage. But when you look at the stats as a whole, marriage is down in the white community.
Yeah.
Americans, period. Americans are not getting married like they used to, but for some reason, everything is always thrown on us. It's the black man who doesn't respect family. It's the black man who it's like everything bad gets thrown on us, man. It's like it's like we got to fight the outside and we got to also fight from the inside with our own people from these labels they're trying to throw on us. It's this one lady, right? I ain't even gonna say her name. She said that black men, she's telling black women, and I don't know how YouTube allows them to this is slander. She's telling young black women to stay away from black men because we're known for taking advantage of their children and abusing women. And I'm like, come on, man, how could you spread this? How could you say this and spread this with confidence? But like I said, they get subscribers and followers to just spread lies. Now, we do have some bad apples, just like you do in every race. But to paint brothers as the face of domestic violence, to paint us as the face of child predators, that ain't right. This is propaganda at its best. You know it. I'm just sick of it, man. So the videos that I've been making lately, I've been offering pushback, like telling people to look up the stats, look at the real child predators of America. And I'm glad that you told me about the thing that happened in Louisiana. I'm gonna look into that, and I believe I'll do a live, and I'll cover that because I want to bring more awareness to our people that our women are pretty much playing the game, playing into the hand. See, the man ain't got to push the propaganda no more. Our own women are doing it for them on YouTube.
Well, there's an economy of beating up on black men, right? Let's call it what it is. White society always want to demonize black men. And then unfortunately, you have some in our own community, male and female, want to demonize black men. Just like how you talked about earlier about the men that will be all into what another man doing in his relationships. I think that's the most beta male simp thing you can do. I mean, caping so hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying caping hard. And I think I had one come to my chat, bro. I had posted a video when I was in Turkey, and I was just showing like a ring I had got out of Turkey. And I had my tour guide next to me, right? And so some of them thought that Turkish woman was my wife. No, she wasn't my wife at all, But one of them started talking about, oh, well, I think, what do you say? Real players have a black wife and this and that and the third. And I say, so what's your point? What is your point on that? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure that out. Why would you make that statement? And we didn't even talk about no women in the video. We didn't say nothing about women. It was not even a relationship video, right? But you had to make that statement because you caping and simping for these women. And you have so many of these men. Like I said, I'm not LGBT. So I think it's weird when another man is telling another man what he should be doing in his relationships. Why are you so invested? The women, I get it, but why a man?
It's a lot. It's a lot of that. But you know what? I get it, Phil. A lot of men, and I've studied this. A lot of guys who can't gain a male following just by talking about like regular things that we go through as men in general. What they'll do is, in order to find some type of success on YouTube, they'll start pandering to the women. Let me agree with black women so I can gain a female audience, and they'll pander to that audience to make money and go against black men. And it's crazy. It's a lot of There's a lot of guys doing that, man. It's this one guy, I ain't gonna say his name. He's saying, I agree with such and such on the abortion of black male babies. And I'm like, how could you agree to that as a black man? That's crazy. But hey, man, a lot of these brothers they're doing any and everything for money, even if they got to kiss up to these women who disrespect us every day.
A man that sits there, do this guy got a woman?
I don't know, man. He sits up on YouTube and he says he agrees with the divestors and the abortion of black male babies, and he's a black man.
Well, it's like this. That kind of dude that would say something like that sound like he getting pegged by a woman. Anyway, look, because you got these dudes doing that. Because I think one time you had a dude, the female, come on Trickin She's live asking about her man. Is that normal for her? Because he likes to get pegged. I mean, this is what these dudes are into. Like, look, a dude from me and your generation, even mentioning something like that, you not at minimum will get cussed out. We don't know what's going to happen after that to even insinuate something like that. This is the generation these dudes are on, bro. This is the generation when you see dudes like Tiki Barber the other day. I think it was him. Did you see them shoes he had on the other day? Them heels. You seen that?
I know, man. It's ridiculous,
like
man.
Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, bro, she was so spot on, boy, when she talked about getting them dudes in a dress. Man, you need to read that stuff when she talked about that. She was talking about these dudes years ago.
Hey, she was ahead of her time because we see it now. We see it play out. You see the dudes, and I'm like, come on, man. Somebody like they just doing it for attention. I say, I don't care. No man, I don't care. No man should be caught dead in that. Attention, or I don't care. The fact that you would do that as a man says a lot about your character. It's like, come on, man. And these guys, and what they're doing is they're using the entertainers, the rappers, because they know these guys have a lot of influence on the youth in the black community. So let's take all these guys with a lot of influence, and we will use them as the poster childs for this feminine behavior, so that the youngsters would think that it's okay. Let's use the rappers, the entertainers, because everybody knows that black people look up to rappers and entertainers.
Yeah, and then let's call it what it is. You remember the rappers from our time period, the NWAs, the MC8s, all you got in California,
Boys,
like Sugar Free. Sugar Free is one of my favorite West Coast artists, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Sugar Free.
Yeah.
Too Short, guys like that, or even down south, you had all the different rappers here and the East Coast. The rappers are just so different. Now today, you look at these rappers, and all of them, the majority of them, they all got this. I'm going to say it. They all got this fruity look.
It's the same. It's the same.
And I'm like, when did that start? How you had to look like he was going to be a killer to everybody looking like, man, is he go both ways? Like, what he got going on?
I don't know, Phil, but like you said, like in the 80s and the 90s, it was diverse, man. You had conscious rappers and street rappers. Now everybody just a thug and a gangster with tattoos everywhere, and every female rapper is pretty much promoting prostitution. So it's when you look at it, you say to yourself, it's like, okay, who's really making the money? And I think we all know who. Let the black men promote gang thug culture and gang violence, and the females will promote prostitution and promiscuous behavior. And that's what you see going on in the rap community with the black males and the black females.
Yeah, and you look at, I know Lil' Kim, she kind of was the pioneer a lot of that with the females. But with Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and a few others have done, like you say, Suki Hana and all these other ones like that. They make Lil' Kim like a schoolgirl.
Damn, they took that. They took it to a whole nother level. But yeah, Kim is the queen. But think about it, Phil. I can't think of one black female rapper who doesn't promote sex all damn day. Every black female rapper that's popular is pretty much promoting thought culture, because there's no balance in that. So this is how black females think. If I want to be popping as a black female rapper, I pretty much got to promote the stripper thought lifestyle in order to be popping as a black female rapper. And as a young black man, you got to rap about shooting and killing somebody every 10 seconds just to sell records. Because keep in mind now, Phil, it ain't even about the talent with these rappers. It's about the controversy that surrounds them to sell records now.
Yeah, well, Cardi B said something that was really interesting one time. She said that when I talk about other things, like being positive or whatever, say none of y'all want to pay attention to me. You say, or listen to those songs, say, but when I talk about, popping my, wolf puss and all that other stuff, she talk about in her songs. She said, y'all consume that, y'all love that. Say, okay, so I'm gonna talk about that. So I kind of understood where Cardi B went with that, because you can look at YouTube. If you don't believe me, tomorrow, Red Supreme, make a live stream telling brothers like how to do some business, how to like get a house, how to take care of your credit. Just do a video like that, right? And watch the numbers, watch the super chats, whatever else. Then the next day, I want you to go in and talk about the women and all the different things they do with single mothers, and it will prove. Because Cardi B ain't lying. Because I stopped doing certain content, even on my news channel, because I'm like, we have interviewing people like how to create a business, how to get a mortgage, how to raise your credit score. They don't even want to watch that. But let me talk about some sort of racism. They'll love that. Man, over here, let me talk about Karen. So if you like Karen, I'm gonna give you all the Karen you want.
Right. You're right, Phil. But you know what? Hey, you know what? I told my partner, man, I said, YouTube is a new rap game. You're right about that. The same thing that goes on in the rap game is in YouTube. Like, you talk about nope, ain't gonna go. That controversy sell, ratchetness sell. So the people who want to break away from it continue to sell it because they know the consumers want it. So it puts them in a box. Like, I want to expand, but I'm in a business and I want to make money. So since I want to make money, I'm going to continue to sell you this degenerate, ratchet music. I know it's keeping us back as people, but it's making me the money that I want. And that's how a lot of artists and even content creators compromise, and we'll kind of get stuck in that box because we'll give the people what they want. But at the same time, we're not evolving as people. We're just entertaining one another. And, unfortunately, man, we've been stuck in that box. There's a lot of people who know better, but they choose not to do better because they make more money supplying the ignorant people with the stuff that they want. You feel what I'm saying, Phil?
I feel exactly what you're saying. So what I've learned to do is you feed the vitamins with the applesauce. In other words, like I may get you over here to talk about the Karen, but then while I'm talking about the Karen, I'm gonna lace you up on something. Right. Because now I got your attention. Because you would not even be listening to what I'm about to say if I just do it on what I really want to do it on. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned over the years just how to morph what I'm saying into what I really want to get to promote that, right? Because you can do it, you can even do a video on, let's say, domestic violence or something like that, right? Nobody won't watch it. But if you put that in with, let's say you talking about ratchet single mothers, and then you may talk about the domestic violence in there about with Pookie and Ray and all that, but really you want to get to that. You're just using that story to get there. That's on real time you really get them to listen, which is sad, but that's really what we got to do.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. That's what you got to do, man. And even when I'm entertaining, I'm still dropping jewels in there. But like if I put the title on, just like something positive, we see as Black people, we know how to get Black people's attention. Now that we got it, now I'm gonna give you some that you need. I got your attention with what you wanted. Now that I got your attention, I'm gonna give you what you need while entertaining you at the same time. So yes, I definitely like that method because I apply that myself. You know what I mean? I entertain them, but at the same time, I tell them things that they need to know. Like a lot of brothers, I tell them about this field. I'm like, if you deal with a woman who's if you meet a chick that's a divester, stay away from them, man, because if you listen to their videos, they talk about how they have no problem calling the police on Black men, how they'll make up something on Black men, how they want Black men in jail. So with me knowing that, I educate the young brothers that watch me, like, stay away from the divestors, man. These are the type of chicks that'll throw a false case on you, man. So for your best interest, man, I know you a man, some of them look decent, but these women are sick. All you got to do is listen to the stuff they say, and that'll tell you everything that you need to know, man. Especially, you're going to listen to what you're like, damn, he was right. They're treacherous, man. It's a female that said she was going to call the police on me, and she'll make up something just because she don't like Black men. So what I did was, when she did the live, I recorded it. So if something was ever happen, I can show, like she said that she will make up stuff on Black men just to see us in jail. She has that much hatred. and they're making videos saying this in the open, not even hiding it.
Now, I know who you're talking about. I'm not gonna call her name, but this is what I know about her. She would be an embarrassment to Liberia because she's Liberian. Liberian people don't talk that way. I talk to Liberian people all the time in Liberia on WhatsApp. Okay,
Yeah.
I got Liberian friends, and they don't talk that way in Liberia. So that's that old when you cross over here. And that listen, I always say this much. Don't I always say look at the lives and the actions of the people that you really want to follow, right? So if you want to follow the women that's on this propaganda, ask a few questions. How long have you been married? Most of them are going to say they never been married. Or if they did were married, the guy didn't stay long. Most of them are bitter because they see other women with a man and then they can't have one. I don't know if you covered that story about that sister that said she had nothing to offer but one thing to a man. You covered that one?
I didn't cover that one, but I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. What she said, she even admitted because my video, which I'm gonna put out, she admitted later that she was bitter because she would see other women with a man, and she would see them be dropping the women off at the nail shops and taking them to get their hair done. And she said she was just so bitter. So, and she at least she was admitting it. So what you have is a lot of females who are just felt just like her, bitter, real bitter and angry. Okay. And then so they get on social media and do that. Now, if they get a man, you ain't gonna see him no more. Let them get a man. Oh, black men are just so beautiful. Oh, I love black men. I say, yeah, I bet you do.
It's a hustle, Phil, because even the one chick, that kind of helped start that movement. Word is she's with her brother now.
I heard that. I interviewed her years ago too.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of people in my time. I need to start putting some of them interviews on this channel that we're going to put this interview on. This is called Flashbacks. And I've interviewed a whole lot of people. People don't realize I've interviewed. But I interviewed her years ago. And I remember that she told me in that interview that her Brad wasn't working for 6 months. And she was sitting up there doing all the bills for 6 months when he didn't have a job. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. Y'all would call a brother all kind of sorry and everything else. They wasn't using Dusty back then. Y'all call him sorry and a bum and everything if he didn't have a job, but you let Brad make it for 6 months?
Yeah.
Like, Halle Berry, she got her brother now too, and she happy.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. And the thing is, see, and this is manipulation. These women that make this content, they know it's a lot of propaganda because there's a lot of these white guys that they deal with. A lot of these guys are broke as well. But they paint the picture like, well, if you go to the other side, you can get this. And it's nothing but a scam. Just like the femininity thing. There's a lot of, the sad thing is on the women's side, there's a lot of scams going on. There's fake femininity. You got women that don't have proof of a healthy relationship, not at all, but they're teaching other women how to be feminine. Then you have the divestors, like you said, they don't have a track record. They don't have a track record of having a healthy relationship, but they're selling courses to bitter women. And at this point, it's just a hustle because you would have to say, like, if you're telling me this is great, you should have proof of what you're selling. These women are making money with no proof of what they're selling, but Black women are so desperate. And a lot of these women are hurting. They're just looking to hear something that sounds good to the point where they'll buy anything from a woman who looks like them that's selling a product. And it's sad. But for you to have a brother now, that means everything you said was fake. You were just doing it for money. You misinformed your subscribers just for the sake of making money.
Yeah,
if I pass it to you, what if a Black man did that? What if a Black man said all this stuff, right? Said all this stuff about Black women or whatever. And then we get held accountable for that stuff. We can't do that. Like you as a Black man, you better be who you say you are. Because if not, you're gonna be in trouble. But the women, like we say, they get to just make up stuff and it don't matter because women are that desperate.
Well, most of the Black men that say something about the women, they're not saying all though. So that most of these men that's don't hate Black women. Most of them don't.
No.
So if they meet a decent Black woman and they marry one or whatever, I wouldn't think that's like hypocritical because he never said he hated all black women. Like some of these divestment females are coming across and saying having a hatred for all black men. That's the difference. Now, if this dude say he just hate black women and all black women, he end up with one. Of course, people are like, well, what happened, bro? Like, I thought you didn't like black women. That's different. But most brothers out here do not hate black women. You know, when you talk about, oh, you must hate your mom. No, don't hate my mama. You must hate your sister. No, love my sister very much. You know, no, because she's not acting like you. You know, that's what these brothers are just trying to say, right? And they don't want, they do not want. One thing I've learned, they don't. White society and also certain factions of the men and women in our society do not like to see black men happy.
Right.
Like black men being happy, black men, you know, finally enjoying themselves financially, black men traveling. That's another thing they can't stand. Some of them, oh, they hate to see a black man traveling. You know, black man living his best life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever woman he with, no matter what it is. Listen, some people say, oh, you know, if you talk about a man that got a woman outside the community, okay, he can have a black woman. She could be the wrong skin tone, right? She could be too light, too dark. She can look exotical, or she may not be pretty enough. There's always some criticism on any woman that a black man choose. Yeah. Have you noticed that too?
It's always like if you go get a woman right now, like say like if a darker brother, right? A darker skinned brother, he go get a woman, she's black. Now she's on the lighter side. Now they're telling him what kind of black woman he got to have. First, he was like, okay, I'm gonna give me a black woman. Nah, that ain't good enough. Now they're gonna tell you what kind of black woman is good enough. You didn't get one with 4C hair. You didn't go get a traditional looking sister. You like, well, I dated one, it didn't work out. See what I'm saying? They're just all over the place. Not only do you got to get a black woman, Phil, you got to get the kind of black woman that they want you to have. And that right there, it's just crazy, man. The politics in our community is insane. You know, the way that black men are policed is just crazy, man. And I've seen a lot of black females that are just blatant hypocrites, but they make money. Then I want to go back to what you said. We don't hate black women. The difference between the content we make and the divestors, their content, they say we wish I was in jail. We wish more police would beat y'all. You don't never hear us say that. If you listen to my content, I'm telling black women how they could be better. If you did this and if you did that, black men would want you more. You would appeal more to black men if you did this. I don't make videos telling black men that they shouldn't marry black women, that they shouldn't date black women. Matter of fact, Phil, when my video, I don't tell men what race of women they should date. I just said, just be a man with whatever woman you get. But I don't police brothers for their preference. I police brothers for simping. I don't police brothers for their preference.
Yeah, but let me tell you something else that I have experienced, and I think brother Dynasty Mir had the same experience too. I remember when I had a conversation, I would say, look, if I was a single man right now, I would not marry an American female because it's the culture. It's not even the color anymore. It's the culture here.
Yeah.
I said, look, if I was a single man today, if I was a single brother, I said, I would probably, I would suggest you brothers go to Africa, because they got so many different types in Africa you can get. You can go to the Caribbean. If you want to go to the DR, Brazil, all these different places, that's Afro-Latina, right? So we talking about within the black community. Yeah. You have them get mad and say you wrong for telling black American men to go be with black women overseas. No, so I thought it was about dating outside or marrying outside the race. So that's not even that. When you had that conversation, it's like you want black American men just to stay in a box to when you get ready for them.
Yeah. That's true, Phil. And like we said, dating a black woman isn't good enough. Now that you have a black woman, oh, what skin tone is she? If she ain't got 4C hair, then you're not dating a real black woman. Oh, well, I'll go overseas. Well, you only going overseas because you can't handle a real black woman. Now, black women overseas, those ain't real black women. So it don't matter what we do. It don't matter. It all goes back to what you said. They just hate to see brothers happy, man. It don't matter what you do. You're not, go get a black woman with 4C hair. Oh, you're just trying to boss that woman around. It's always going to be a problem.
Yeah, she's a woman that had two-parent household. You know, she's a good woman. She follow you. You know, with your leadership. Y'all working very good. What's wrong with you? Like, it's always a problem. And of course, let me preface this before I get 1,000 emails. We're talking about the ones who saying that. We're not saying all black women have ever said this. We're not saying all black women to have a problem with a brother marrying or dating a Nigerian or Somali or whoever he want to date, right? That's not what we're saying. We're saying to those who do it, if the shoe fits. Because I always got to preface that, Red Supreme, because I'll get a bunch of emails, you get a bunch of emails, and y'all wrong for that. I support your content, Red Supreme, and I don't feel that way. I ain't talking about you, sister.
Right. We said it along, man, and I've said it. I said it. And the females that watch me, I say this to them, Phil. I said, when have you ever seen Red Supreme roast a black woman who's married that takes care of her children and mind her business? You've never seen me roast a woman like that. The females that I roast are the ones that you see on World Star, the ones that are talking about abort black male babies, the ones that are trying to paint black men as the sex predators of America. Those are the females that I roast. You've never seen Red Supreme roast a black woman who minds her business and raises her children. You've never seen me do that. So I'm very specific about the type of women that I'm talking about. But of course, they're going to twist it and make it seem like you're saying, oh.
Yeah, so basically, Red Supreme roasts the wild hyena hood rats. That's who he roasts. He don't roast decent, good black women. That's basically what he's saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And with that said, our brother Red Supreme, let people know, like I said, how they can get to your channel, Instagram, and all of that, so they can go over there and support you. We want y'all to go over there and support our brother Red Supreme.
Man, you can find me on Red Supreme TV 1. You can also find me on Red Supreme TV 2. And I just started a Instagram and a Facebook, man. I gotta put some content over there, but you can go to the about section of my channel and you can find my Facebook, my Instagram, my BlackTube channel. Go to the about section of Red Supreme TV 1 and you can find all of my links, man, my Patreon, everything over there, man. We got exclusive content on the Patreon. And yeah, man, so tap in with me on Red Supreme TV 1 and 2, man. I appreciate you for having me over here, Phil.
Well, definitely want to thank our brother Red Supreme for coming over today, for having this conversation. I love talking with the brothers, and definitely, like I said, subscribe to his channel. Please subscribe to his channel. He dropping a lot of knowledge for the brothers, and some of you sisters can learn from Red Supreme as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not that he just talking to the men, but if some of you women didn't have a dad around, listen to some of these, listen to your uncles. So I'm gonna say this is Uncle Red Supreme. He in the same age group as me, so that's Uncle Red Supreme. So go holler at Uncle Red Supreme and take some instruction from your uncle over there on Red Supreme, TB1 and TB2. So, brother, I appreciate you, and everything, and you stay blessed, man.
I appreciate you having me, brother.